Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask you to take your seat, please? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our college assembly for week 5. As always, it's a packed schedule, so if you're standing up, you might want to take a seat and get comfortable. Week 5, ladies and gentlemen, who'd have thought that it was halfway through the term already? Time just keeps moving on. It's a wonderful thing, though, to come together and celebrate yet again so many achievements and so many great things about life at Nudgee. This morning we will hear from our Era for Change students for the first time this term as they launch our new look Project Compassion activity because, of course, today, being Shrove Tuesday, is that last day before Lent begins. Tomorrow we will gather here again in period 1 for our Ash Wednesday liturgy to mark the beginning of Lent. Lent, being that preparation for Easter, takes on a very solemn, recollected tone. It's not an upbeat, it's not a... Champ, you need to sit up straight and take your arm off the back of that chair, please. It's not a lounge. Lent is not an upbeat or exciting time. It is deliberately meant to be reflective and inward-looking so that we can literally shrive, as in Shrove Tuesday, the past tense of shrive, meaning to clean out. So during Lent, we look inwards to our heart and we clean out all those things that keep us from embracing Christ and the Father who sent him, which we do every day, but particularly at Easter. So Lent is our preparation for Easter. We'll gather here tomorrow to celebrate the beginning of Lent. And Project Compassion is the traditional Catholic program by which we give generously to others in need. So our Era for Change boys will talk to us about our Project Compassion effort this year, which they're calling the Chicken Challenge. We'll also mark those students whose improvement across their learning outcomes for semester 2 have deservedly merited them a Principal's Award. So we will celebrate with those students who have gained a Principal's Award. Fogarty House will brief us on the world's greatest shave. We'll hear from our music and performing arts students about the recent GPS music showcase. And we will have the first of this year's On the Couch sports roundup. So as I said, there's a lot to look forward to in today's assembly. Get comfortable, not too comfortable. And we will start, first of all, with our Project Compassion prayer led by Ned Fairley from the Era for Change.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God of all generations, we thank you for those who have gone before us, especially those who have cared for your earth and who inspire us to help respect your creation and contribute to its healing. We thank you for those with whom we share our lives today, especially those who work for justice and peace. May we welcome the opportunity that Lent brings to walk more closely with you, especially through fasting, almsgiving, and prayer. We thank you for the challenge of the future. May the cross of Jesus remind us that only love finds the way forward. As we work with big hearts, may we join with Mary in her hope that from now on, all generations will experience the great things you will do through us. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. Leave Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, CLT, special guests, staff, and my Nudgee brothers. Being a student at Nudgee College holds many definitions amongst the community. But on the crest of every single student who has worn the blue and white are 2 key words that are the pinnacle of what a Nudgee student is: Signum Fidei. With such a rich history of Nudgee College practicing in the Edmund Rice tradition, once again the call to be a sign of faith has been struck upon us. The Era for Change team for 2023 has begun our first initiative, Project Compassion. How this looks inside the Nudgee gates is through the Chicken Challenge. You will soon see different members of our community describe what the purpose of a chicken is, but a chicken to many families in Zimbabwe can be the difference of surviving financially through the tough drought in southern Africa. $7 can help purchase a chicken for a family to help overcome the difficulties that a drought brings to an underdeveloped community. Jacob, our college captain, has stood up here before you and highlighted how important it is to show that little bit of kindness and the importance of the little things that we do each day. Project Compassion enables us to live the spirit and do our part in helping Caritas to help alleviate poverty, promote justice and uphold dignity in the most vulnerable and marginalised communities in the world. Our first small step is to reach out to support our brothers and sisters of Zimbabwe that are struggling through the southern African drought.
Lent is a time of reflection and renewal, a period in which we can examine our lives and consider how we can better ourselves and help those around us. It is a time to remember the sacrifices that have been made for us and to consider how we can make sacrifices for our own. As a community, we can come together during this important time to help others and make a real difference in the world. The significance of Lent is reflected in the words of Pope Francis, who said, "Lent comes to reawaken us." These words remind us that Lent is a time to reinvigorate our spirits and to inspire action. As an Era for Change community, we encourage each and every one of you to take action, to be a Signum Fidei, and to donate $7 to this worthy cause. On Wednesday, week 8, the 15th of March, we as a community are coming together and committing ourselves to raising enough money to purchase 500 chickens for disadvantaged families in Zimbabwe. This will be an individual PC challenge, with the winner receiving a pizza party for their hard work and efforts. More information will be communicated in the coming weeks as well as in the soon notices. The significance of Lent is not just about making personal sacrifices. It is also about coming together as a community to support one another. It is also about recognizing our shared humanity and working together to create a better world for all future generations. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2023 Nudgee Chicken Challenge, the Era for Change.
So what is the purpose of a chicken?
KFC. To lay an egg. To sell the egg that it laid.
Eat it.
I think the purpose of a chicken is that they make excellent pets.
What is the purpose of a chicken?
Purpose of a chicken is to eat for protein so you can get muscles.
To get that protein.
To lay eggs.
There's a few. Food, eggs, good company if you need it.
They make great pets. Good for loving. Good for eating.
Yeah.
What do you call a Buddhist chicken that's always meditating?
What do you call it, miss?
A Zen hen.
Yeah. Thank you for participating in the 2023 Nudgee Chicken Challenge. Let's see how much we can raise. It's $7 for a chicken for a family in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
From the cattle yards to the red shed, a hop, skip, lift and sprint in the gym, an extra hour of study in business, or a lap around the Hendry track. NC Skills and Training thrives throughout school life and out into the real world. The NC Skills and Training pathway is a head start into the desired career of choice, benefiting our students with real world problems, working relationships with employers, and having the ability to start a career while still at school. Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, parents, staff, college leadership team, and my fellow Nudgee brothers. This year it is my honour to represent you as a studies prefect. I am also lucky enough to be completing a carpentry apprenticeship as part of my skills and training pathway, while still enjoying all the opportunities NC has to offer. In 2023, the students partaking in a skills and training pathway are exposed to a wide variety of desired careers, aimed at enhancing and honing their skills to increase the chance of employment. Recently, an electrotechnology class has been added to the program. This class is aimed at those students wishing to further excel in an electrical apprenticeship. Also on offer is a Cert 3 in fitness, which is targeted at those students aimed at benefiting from a personal training and athletic development program. This program is facilitated by the school in order to pursue a career in the health and fitness industry. At Nudgee College, we offer a high-quality vocational education and training program capable of developing young men into productive and competitive drivers of the economic working future of society. By participating in a skills and training pathway at school, you are being equipped with knowledge and skills to further benefit and prepare you for a wide variety of opportunities. For students choosing a training pathway, this is a genuine career move. Students will subsequently be equipped with skill sets available at their disposal for one or several different forms of work. I encourage all of you, no matter what grade you are in, to be productive with exploring your future pathway options by attending career expos, having a conversation with your parents, teachers, and the staff in the Learning and Teaching office. It's never too early to start thinking about your future, remembering that for our Year 11 and 12 students, subjects must align with their interests, abilities, and potential career pathways. Behind me is a list of qualifications you can currently choose to undertake. These subjects can be a part of your journey, even for students on an ATAR pathway. Last year, in 2022, the college prefect urged students to own their journey. This year, as seniors, we're encouraging you to find a balance and have the courage to live the spirit in 2023. I implore students to have the courage to realise their own aspirations by being resilient, no matter whether that takes you to the top of Dewick, the bottom of Purden, or out to the cattle yards. Simply stick with it. The students being presented a Principal's Award have found the balance and resilience to work towards achieving their individual aspirations by prioritising their learning. I invite Ollie Kill and Mr. Fulger to the stage to commence the presentation of these awards.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, special guests, parents and staff and men of Nudgee. It is my privilege to present the Principal Awards to students who were in Years 5, 6 and 7 last year. The Principal's Award recognises academic improvement from one semester to the next. The Principal's Award encourages and rewards students who have shown the greatest improvement in their application and levels of achievement. In championing a learning culture, the college acknowledges that the development of a growth mindset, combined with habits of mind such as persistence, are crucial to becoming lifelong learners. In Year 5, the Principal's Award recipients are Angus Coleman, Jude La Rosa, Lachlan Kaminsky, Vander Cross, and Zealand Tamati. Can we please congratulate our Year 5 medalists? In Year 6, the Principal's Awards recipients are Killian McKnight, Archie Sainsbury, who is absent today. What? Oh, sorry, who is not absent. Jai Rubak, who is absent today. Cody Taylor, Nalay Shirolka, can we please congratulate our Year 6 medalists? In Year 7, the Principal's Award recipients are Kyle Curran, who is absent today, Jackson Cool, Oliver Hadwin, Riley Ireland, and Harrison Keong. Can we please congratulate our Year 7 medalists? I I would now like to welcome fellow Studies Prefect Aidan Easton to the stage.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, special guests, parents, staff, and men of Nudgee. It is my privilege to present the Principal's Awards to students who were in Years 8, 9, 10, and 11 last year. In Year 8, the Principal Award recipients are Hayden Burke, Samuel Coleman, who is absent today, Tom Duffy, Flynn Borman, and Peter Rose. Can we please congratulate our Year 8 medalists? In Year 9, the Principal Award recipients are Adam Fraser, who is absent today, Thomas Wearing, Nathaniel Brown, who is absent today, and Patrick Young. Can we please congratulate our Year 9 medalists? In Year 10, the Principal's Award recipients are Reese Ford, Lachlan Hindenburg, Cole Sherman, Carmichael D, William Stone. Can we please congratulate our Year 10 medalists? In Year 11, the Principal Award recipients are Benjamin Cluck, Patrick Bayo, Eamon Mahoney, Joaquim Tulloch, Blair McKittrick, and Isaac Andrews. Can we please congratulate our Year 11 Principal's Award winners and all students who received the Principal's Award.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, staff, parents, special guests, and men of Nudgee. We're 5 weeks into the school year, which can mean only one thing. World's Greatest Shave is well and truly upon us. For those of you who don't know, World's Greatest Shave is a charity led by the Leukemia Foundation, an Australian charity dedicated to supporting people living with blood cancer. The latest figures show that 53 Australians hear the words, "You have blood cancer," every day. Boys, a cancer diagnosis is about the hardest news an individual can hear. Not only does it come with fear and uncertainty and an extensive amount of treatment for the individual, but also heavily affects family, friends, and the wider community. However, the Leukemia Foundation is here to help. Their goal is to have 0 lives taken by blood cancer by the year 2035, just 12 years from now. Of course, this substantial goal can only be met with the help of ordinary people like you and I, stepping up and being extraordinarily generous. Last year, Nudgee raised an incredible $23,900 for this great cause, with over 40 heads shaved. I know this might be a lot to ask, but this year, we want more. This year's goal is a whopping $25,000, and I know we've got it in us. Incredibly, we've already raised over $14,000, which is a massive credit to everyone who's already signed up and donated. Thanks to these legends, we're tracking better than we ever have, and are well on a course to smash our goal. If you haven't signed up yet, don't worry, because this year I'd like to offer something in return. For the first time ever, I'm going to introduce the World's Greatest Shave Teacher Hit List. How it works is simple. Teachers have elected a price, and once we as a school raise it, they have to shave their head on the official shave day, the 2nd of March. So without further ado, the following teachers have generously elected to shave their heads this year: Mr. Proctor, Mr. Ayres, Mr. Tuvey, Robbie McCafferty, Mr. Mikey Taylor, Mr. Mitchell, Miss Nardi, and Mr. Sugars. As you can see, we've already ticked off most of these teachers, which is awesome. Let's give it up for these amazing teachers who are selflessly willing to shave their heads for this great cause, and of course our entertainment. So let's cut to the chase. We need as many of you out there to join our shave team and help us raise as much money as possible. Like years in the past, you can raise money and shave your head, raise money and not shave, or donate a gold coin on the day and get your hair coloured. Have some fun this year, boys. Get around it, get all your mates involved, hold them accountable, and cop a buzz or raise some money for a good cause. Shout out to the legends who have already donated and got the ball rolling. I reckon we're going to smash 25K. To donate, sign up and join our shave team. Use the QR codes on the posters around the school, I'm sure you've seen them. Or click the link in the student notices. Remember, the shave is on the 2nd of March, Thursday next week, at lunchtime in the Learning Centre. Get in before it's too late, boys. I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, CLT, parents, colleagues, and men of Nudgee. GPS Music is a celebration of the wide-ranging musical talents of GPS students and staff, and it includes choir, concert band, big band, and symphony orchestra ensembles. Unlike many other GPS activities, GPS Music is a day of collaboration, celebrating musical excellence. Schools put forward their best students, and only the best of the bunch get drafted to play. Since its addition into GPS in the year 2000, it has become a much celebrated event on the GPS calendar. After a day of rehearsals, the concert was held on Thursday, the 9th of February at the Old Museum Building in Gregory Terrace. Nudgee boys were fantastic on the day. They were excellent ambassadors for the college. Every boy played and sang beautifully and helped out wherever possible. A special mention should be made to the Nudgee men who volunteered their time to work as stage crew. As Mr. Fulliger mentioned at Assembly last week, Nudgee was the only school to do this and to provide support for the event in this way. In my opinion, it was a wonderful expression of Nudgee spirit. To give Mr. Fulliger a break, I'd like to call our Deputy Principal, Mr. Thompson, to the stage to present our 2023 GPS Music team. Playing flute 1.1 in the symphony orchestra was Thomas Mallet. First tuba in the concert band was Wade Lucas. Jack Walton, who played trumpet in the concert band as well. And Henry Geiss, who played clarinet in the concert band. Then we had Latham Angrove, who sung bass in the choir. Michael LaMonica, who sung bass in the choir. Tyler Goodall, who sung bass in the choir. Hunter Ireland, who's away today, but he sung tenor and was a featured soloist out the front. Then we had Juan Zhao, who sung tenor in the choir. Lachlan Patterson, who sung tenor and was also a featured soloist. Hugh Thompson, who sung baritone. Ethan Dahl, who sung our soprano part. And finally, Carter Thompson, who sung tenor as well. Please give these boys a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Gentlemen, remember, it's never too late to start learning an instrument here at Nudgee. We have 13 instrumental music teachers on staff, teaching everything from timpani to tuba. If you're interested in joining a music team or learning an instrument, head to the Nudgee website and sign up. Now I'd like to hand over to Thomas Mallet, our 2023 Arts Captain, to interview two of his GPS music teammates.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I will be interviewing Jack from grade 11 today and one of our youngest members, Carter, from grade 7 about their day at GPS Music. Do you want to test that the mic works?
Testing?
Yes, Perfect. All good. So Jack, what instrument do you play? How long have you been playing it, and how did you start?
I played the trumpet for about 6 years now, and it was at my old school, and I just really wanted to be involved in music. My sister played it, so I was like, let's give it a shot, and turns out I'm all right.
Carter, being one of our youngest members, are you a hardcore music nerd, or do you get involved in other GPS sports and other activities?
No, probably just a little bit of a music nerd. I love my singing, but I do get involved in other sports like cricket and swimming and basketball. But yeah.
Yeah, no, amazing. So for both of you, what were your best parts of your GPS Music Day?
I reckon interacting with other musicians from other schools. There were so many other talented boys there and girls. And to me, I was like, whoa, I'm blown away at how good they are.
And Carter?
Yeah, probably the same. Just, the conductor was really funny. I liked him, but he was really good. But yeah, just the talent in all the boys and girls there.
Yeah. Finally, my final question for both of you is how has your involvement in music affected other aspects of your life? It's a big one.
I think not much. I've always loved singing, and so I think it's always been a part in my life. My parents, well, my dad especially, they both love singing, so I think I've done it for a while and just love it.
And Jack?
I reckon it's taught me a lot of life lessons, like to keep persisting and practice makes perfect. If you stop practicing for a week, you're gonna sound awful. I think that's a lot with sport and other academic subjects. So I think a lot of good skills you've learnt.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jack and Carter, for telling us about your day at GPS Music and all the skills that you've made from music. Now, please welcome Mr. Pipers for another edition of everyone's favourite, Captains on the Couch.
Thanks very much, Tom. Thank you, boys. Excellent stuff. So, first of all, good morning, Mr. Fulliger, CLT, parents, staff around the room, and of course, Nudgy Men. So, the first edition of the year of captains and directors on the couch. This is a little combination and see what's been going on this term. So, I'll introduce Ryan Heaton next to me here, sports prefect, captain of volleyball, Mr. Tim Lang, our cricket director, and my co-host for the day and sports prefect, Lockie Cox. Good morning, guys. Lockie?
Morning.
Pancakes this morning?
Sadly not, sir. No, had a bit of a rush start this morning, bit of a sleep in, so maybe there's leftovers of morning tea.
Maybe dinner. Maybe for dinner. All right, so let's get into the questions. So we'll kick off for you, Ryan. So great start. First couple of weeks for volleyball, 2 comprehensive wins, and then a bit of a difficult day Saturday. You want to talk us through that, mate?
Yeah, it was really disappointing being up 2-0 and then momentum of the game really swung, ended up losing 3-2. But I think it was just a result of our blocks not being the greatest and their big hitters being able to hit through us. And also, passing wasn't the best, so all options weren't open for our hitters.
I hear it was a good training session yesterday, so a good bounce back off the back of that.
Yeah, looking forward to this weekend and coming back.
Now, Lane, we obviously saw better days for cricket on the field, on the pitch. We have 3 out of 3 wins now. How do you think the team went on the weekend?
Yeah, we're sitting 2 points atop after 4 rounds. The first 11 had some really good results on the weekend. We had our first, seconds, 11As, 10As all winning. Highlighted by Kai Anderson making a big 100, his first 100 on the pitch. So well done to Kai. But our first 11 dominant win at State High. Some bigger challenges to come, obviously. Brisbane Grammar away this week, followed by BBC and Church at home. So, but going pretty well. Plenty of work ahead, but pretty positive so far.
That's good to hear.
Okay, Ryan, what I've noticed and what I like about the volleyball program, a lot of the first team boys getting in and around the juniors a lot. So a lot of them refereeing games on the Saturday, a lot of them actually coaching junior teams as well. So you've been around a lot watching some of the junior games. Anything you've noticed in the juniors, any individuals standing out in those age groups?
I would say Flynn Toomey killing it in the 9As, and that team going really well. And then also Christopher Dallimore in the 5As, leading from the front.
Yeah, it's great to see the 5s and 6s. Obviously, first season we got volleyball in 5s and 6s, so terrific to see that.
Now, we know the first 11, they did really well, but what about any junior results or performances that were also a highlight over the weekend?
Look, our junior school teams are flying at the moment. All their hard work over pre-season and during season is paying off. I think our Year 5s the last 2 weeks have clean swept the 10 games across the 2 rounds, so they're going really well, led by Lockie Tucker and Will Campbell and Mitch Halpin through Year 5 and 6. So really good results so far.
Now, Ryan, I've got to ask you something. After every point after the volleyball game, there's a lot of slapping and there's a lot of shouting. What's all that about?
Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual on that one, but I think it just brings heaps of energy and momentum with the team and keeps all the boys connected after every point.
That's interesting.
And Langy, so cricket's pretty popular at Nudgee, big popular sport, but there's a few people in the room that maybe don't get cricket, you know, so what would you say to those people who maybe find cricket a little bit slow?
They need to be more cultured for starters, Mr. Pybus. Now, look, the Ferrari you drive when you sign that big IPL contract isn't slow. I guess the perception of cricket is that's all day, it's stinking hot. Yes, we love the heat as cricketers, but most of our games are played T20s. They go for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I guess the perception is cricket's all day, it's stinking hot, but as I said, most of the games we play in GPS are T20s and they go for a couple of hours, so piece of cake, really.
Fair enough. I love cricket, just so we know.
Ryan, we'll start with you, but we're looking to the games at BGS this weekend. How are you looking for that?
I think training started well, looking forward to finish the week well, and the Nudgee program hasn't had much success over BGS in the past, but hopefully the boys can go over there and put out some good performances.
So could you say that maybe this weekend's a game to watch?
Yeah, I'd say so. Big one coming back because Premiership's still on the line and we can get back in the hunt this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Langy, how do you think you're going to go against BGS?
Yeah, look, we're none from 4, but as our players know, the first and particularly know that every game is really tricky in the GPS. So we've got to prepare well this week, be mentally ready to go Saturday. I know Brisbane Grumman's fast bowler should be back. Callum Vidler, who's been playing the Australian under-19 team, is pretty slippery, so got to prepare well, be mentally ready to go for Saturday and continue our good form.
And Langy, across the program, who's the quickest bowler? Have we got any Brett Lees? Have we got any Mitchell Starks in that program? Who's fast?
Probably outside of myself, Mr. Pybus. Now Angus McLean's doing really well. Big Beefy's leading our attack in the first 11. I'd say he's probably half a yard to a yard in front of Ed Kaspowitz, who's bowling well for us also. And I'm sure Carter Corliss would like a mention there as well. So those three pretty neck and neck, but I'll just give it a Beefy at the moment.
Yeah. What about with a bat? Who can give him a whack?
Well, they all think they can give him a whack, really. Matty Fielding's a clean striker, one of the cleanest strikers I've seen at my time at Nudgee in 6 years. He's going really well. I guess the skipper thinks he can hit him pretty well. Jack Balkan gets pretty funky at times. But Will Birchley at the moment playing some really good cricket in the 2s. Knock on the door for 1 selection. Will's a big unit and gives a fair slap, so he's going really well for us.
And last one, obviously, big part of the modern game, fielding. Who's your best fielder? Some good fielders in there.
There's a couple I'm going to mention. Young Corey Stroud has just started Year 9 from Proserpine. Corey's an absolute whip at cover point, so I'll give him a mention, Corey. And his mate, Grady Turner, who's just a super athlete, great move in the field. So I think they're probably in front at the moment.
Ryan, in volleyball, we love a good spike, we love a good smack. Who would you think is the biggest hitter in volleyball?
Probably unexpected, but I have to say Libero Jack McBride. Won't see much in a game, but in the hitting warm-up, you see him get up and bounce some balls.
Yeah, nice. So who would you say is the best server in the first team?
I think specialist server Ned Clark, subs on and off to serve, does his job really well, gets a good run of points.
Yeah, nice. So in the first team, we're pretty diverse against where the team is half subbies, half seniors. If there was a game between subbies versus seniors, who do you think would win?
I think definitely seniors. Subbies got some good players, but seniors just show more heart.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we might finish off this morning with this or that. So for those who haven't seen this, I say 2 things, and the guys are going to pick their favourite out of those 2 things. So we'll go across. Ryan, we might do you first, and then on to Lang over there. So cricket or volleyball?
Volleyball.
Cricket.
Okay. Rowing or swimming?
Rowing.
Swimming.
Okay, one of it. A 5-wicket haul or a half century?
Half century.
Both. Attacking spike or winning block?
Winning block.
It's got to be attacking spike.
Playing Test cricket or T20 top earner?
T20 top earner.
No, I've always dreamt of playing Test cricket, so definitely Test cricket.
Rich and famous or rich and unknown?
Have to be rich and famous.
Definitely rich and unknown.
Beach volleyball or indoor volleyball?
Haven't played too much beach, so I'd have to say indoor.
Definitely beach volleyball.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke.
Yeah, I agree.
Broncos or Dolphins?
Stay loyal to the Broncos.
It's fins up, for sure.
Pasta or pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Pineapple on a pizza?
Yeah.
Yep, don't mind the pineapple.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Ronaldo. Love his flair.
A bit controversy there. McDonald's or Big Dad's Pies?
Big Dad's Pies at a home game.
Yeah, Mr. Palmer and I love a Big Dad's Pies. For sure, Big Dad's.
Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast?
Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, Sunshine Coast.
Sombrero or GYG?
Definitely GYG.
Sombrero.
Okay, folks, that brings to close this edition of On the Couch. If we could please thank our guests, Mr. Lang, Ryan Heaton and Lockie Cox.
Good morning, Mr. Fulliger, CLT, staff, parents, and my fellow Nudgee brothers. Our cross-country pre-season is well underway. Running hills, pushing ourselves with intervals, and strengthening our endurance with some long runs. It's been a fantastic first few weeks. Everyone is welcome to attend, so I encourage you to come down to a few sessions. Training times can be found in the student notices. This Friday, we'll be hosting our annual invitational time trial with Brisbane Girls Grammar and Clayfield College runners in attendance. I encourage any runner to come down to test themselves in a 2 kilometre or 3 kilometre time trial on our new cross-country course. Afterwards, for a chance to get our cross-country community together, we'll be having a sausage sizzle provided by our XC parent support group. Details and sign-on can be found in the student notices and our NCXC team app. I now invite Mr. Fulliger to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Callum. It's been terrific to have so many boys speaking on assembly today, being interviewed, leading from the lectern here, or being interviewed over on the couch. To all those boys who've stepped up and spoken today, congratulations, well done. Boys, I think you should acknowledge them. It's not an easy thing to do at all. So well done, boys. Hands together, please. So good morning, parents, staff, the boys from Shaw House who are in Tierney, and young men of Nudgee. Morning, boys. Just sit up, please. There's been a lot of listening. If I could just go back to last week. I mentioned last week on assembly a little bit of a disappointment about one of our cricket teams who'd been bowled out for 41. hadn't shown a lot of resilience. I want to give a shout out to the Seconds 11 cricket team who last weekend scored 219 and had a convincing win over State High. Showed some resilience, showed some grit, determination, a bit of spirit. So boys, congratulations on that redemptive effort last Saturday. A real credit to you boys. Can I also acknowledge all those boys today who received the Principals Award. It was several years ago that we renamed the Principals Award or reallocated the criteria for that. Was all about improvement. Some of you boys have sat through assemblies over the last couple of weeks and seen gold and silver medals and bronze awarded and might sit there and think, well, I can never get a gold. And that may or may not be true. If you're like me, you'd never could have got a gold. But every one of you could attain a Principals Award. It's measured on improvement. And improvement comes from attitude, improvement comes from application, improvement comes from that growth mindset. Tom Robertson spoke to you here a couple of weeks ago, last year's Ducks, talked about eye on the prize, about focusing. So to all those boys who've achieved today and we've acknowledged, and to their parents who are there, I know we're very proud of them, congratulations. And I would urge every one of the 1,700 others of you boys to also aim up over this semester. Be it a gold, a silver, a bronze, an academic prize, a learning habits prize, which is coming up as well. There are any ways that we can acknowledge you, but there's any ways that you can achieve in the classroom as well. So boys, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent today, so I hope you can go with me. The tangent I want to talk about today is about a tree. It's actually about something known as the tree of knowledge. I'm hoping that an image comes up behind me which helps to put a bit of context around the tree of knowledge. Don't want to make it a Bible study, but there's the tree of knowledge is referenced in the story of Adam and Eve, the choice of the apple. If all of us remember Adam and Eve and the snake and the apple, but we sometimes forget that the tree of knowledge is referenced in that Bible reading of the Old Testament. More current, perhaps, more applicable to us in Queensland and maybe to Australia. If you go to a little town in Barcaldine out in western Queensland, we'd have some boys who live within fairly close distance of Barcaldine. If you go to Barcaldine, you can find a tree which is called the Tree of Knowledge there. And its historical reference in Australia is that it was the birthplace of the Australian Labor Party, the ALP. It still stands there and you can see the image of it there. In our past at Nudgee, we once had a tree of knowledge as well. So it's something from our past, but it's actually been reimagined in the present. And if anything, I've been remiss in not highlighting it in the last couple of years. Lots of reasons for that. But it's a powerful symbol here at Nudgee. It was a powerful symbol back in the day. So if we go back in that day, you see a couple of images there of the college. So there in 1910 to 1914, that's the Tracy building, the old Tracy building. We've sort of redeemed it a little bit or brought back that fretwork on it, and it looks very much there in 1910 as it does today. We're not playing tennis in Edmund Rice Mall anymore. We're not wearing those styles of uniforms anymore. And to the right-hand corner of that photo, and to the top right-hand corner, you can see a tree. That tree was intentionally planted by Brother O'Brien back in the day with the help of a couple of other brothers, the Smith brothers, who also did a lot of labour work down on the flats. And if I could read from our history here, just very, very briefly. It was also referenced as it had another name at the time. The Barrett and the O'Brien tree was another popular name for the tree of knowledge. We have Barrett House, we have O'Brien and boarding, as you know. Brother O'Brien is believed to have planted it in the course of his working with the brothers Smith, those other Nudgee pioneers who served the college in the early years as lay brothers. Brother Barrett used to take classes for the lads who needed special help in the shade of its foliage. Even today, some of us need that little bit of extra help around the school in our learning. but Brother would take them there under the tree. Hence the possible origins of the reference to it as the tree of knowledge, because in truth we don't know why it was called the tree of knowledge, but it was in the folklore of the school. And in that second photo you can see, if you could bring that second photo back up, IT please, or AV please. In that second photo you can also see the chapel. And you can just see, if you look strain hard enough, beyond the tree to what was Ross Oval at the time. Wouldn't have been called Ross in those days, it was Main Oval. And that's a photo taken from around 1948. And you can see there as he loses his paper. You can see there a line underneath it, and you might be able to read it from the back, I'm not too sure. But underneath that image it says, the chapel, the tree of knowledge, Ross Oval. They all epitomise Nudgie's signum fidei. You've heard that reference from us on assembly over this year and in the past. Signum fidei is not just around the chapel. Nudgie's spirit's not just around the grandstand. It's much broader and more encompassing and more inclusive than that. The history of Nudgie is that in the 1970s they created a building called the Gallagher Building. It's no longer here. Some of the older boys will remember going to class in Gallagher back in the day. And going to Gallagher was a variety of classes. And in building Gallagher in the 1970s, they knocked over the tree of knowledge. It was never replaced. When we refurbished the Tracy building in 2019 into 2020, Gallagher was demolished. That whole area was reimagined, as you now know, and re-beautified. And we took it back to some of its origins, including the tree of knowledge, which you maybe have walked past any number of times. So that photograph, which was taken for me by Mr. Mara recently. So we're standing at the chapel door, more or less, and we're looking towards Dewig. Ryan Hall's on our right, Ross Oval's on our left. And at the end of that mall is the tree of knowledge. We haven't signed it in any way. We haven't put any signage on it to say this is the tree of knowledge. Maybe we will, but maybe we don't, because back in the day they didn't sign it in any way. It was just in the culture of the school. It was the knowledge of the staff at the time, and the boys and parents, should they have been here at the time, would have known that was the tree of knowledge. So what did it symbolise? What does it mean, the tree of knowledge? Well, we can interpret it in lots of ways, and if we just skip on in the slide, please. Part of that is for yourself. What can a tree represent? Well, trees are always about growth. Small sapling into a magnificent tree. That tree will continue to grow over the years ahead, much like yourselves, boys. So growth represents also improvement. We talked about improvement today. We've acknowledged it as well. It's a connection to our past, so we've brought back the notion of the tree of knowledge to today. Something from our past, from our earliest days. We talk about that a lot here at Nudgie in our big story. We want to hang on to some of those traditions, but we also want to change and reinterpret them as well. But it's also about the future. That growth and that improvement is around the future. That tree, I hope, when you come back as an old boy in years to come, you bring your kids here or you're here as a grandparent, whatever it may be, that tree will be there. And you might recall the fact that it was replanted and re-established around this time when you were here as a student. And I conclude by going to Signum Fidei, just like that old photo talked about Signum Fidei being that chapel, being the tree of knowledge and being Ross Oval as it was. So we slide over to the next image, please. So what is the symbolism of Signum Fidei? And we're waiting with bated breath, and there it is. So in that whole precinct, and we've established this, and we've probably highlighted in various conversations we've had with people and presentations we've had, that is a really, really important space within the college. The traditional heart of the college, when the school was much smaller than it is today, when there was no halls down here, no running tracks, just a bit of scrubby bush, up the very top of the school, that was the physical heart of the school. And so what did they do? They built the chapel around faith. They built Dewig in 1919, learning. The Oval, co-curricular. And beside that, Ryan Hall and the Tracy building around community and gathering and space. All of those have a deeper meaning for us boys. So, what does that mean for you? Perhaps not much if you just continue to just walk blindly past that tree. But I hope in the days ahead, if you walk past there today, you might just give a nod to that tree, or in your mind think, okay, tree of knowledge, it's part of Nudgee. It's something that's important to us. And it means, hopefully, something to you as well. More importantly than knowing that it also brings an action from you. So as you walk in the Dewey classrooms, as you walk into the chapel, you walk down to the Ross Oval, or any of those spaces as well, that elicits an action that represents Signum Fidei, an action that represents sign of faith, an action that represents Nudgee College, and the very best of what we want to be. Thank you, gentlemen.
Morning, everyone. You may have heard of the phrase, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. I've been particularly impressed with how our prefects have set the scene for us this year. In particular, their explanation of the Nudgee spirit and the power of the 10,000 brothers, one of our great strengths. However, something is emerging for me at the moment, this subculture of some boys making lives unbearable for others. That's disgraceful in itself, but my comment today is about a weakness of the brotherhood and of the Nudgee spirit. When speaking at a recent year meeting, I asked the boys to put their hand up to engage the awareness of a serious bullying incident that had been ongoing. 75% of the boys put the hand up, knew that this had been happening for weeks and weeks. And then a follow-up question, keep your hand up if you had done something to positively impact that situation. Not one boy was able to keep his hand up. Much research, mostly in psychology, has discovered if a single individual is asked to complete the task alone, the sense of responsibility will be strong, and therefore a positive response. However, if a group is required to complete the task together, each individual in the group may have a weaker sense of responsibility and will often shrink back in the face of adversity or difficulty. Without speaking and without looking around, put your hand up if you have heard of the term bystander effect. Thank you. Put your hands down. The term bystander effect refers to this phenomenon in which individuals are less likely to help a victim in the presence of other people. The bystander effect occurs when the presence of others discourages an individual from intervening against a bully or someone who is harassing someone else. The greater number of bystanders, the less likely it is for any one of them to provide help to a person in distress. Social psychologists Bibb Latani and John Darley attributed the bystander effect to two factors: social influence and diffusion of responsibility. Social influence means that individuals monitor the behaviour of those around them to determine if and how to act. When other observers fail to react, individuals often take this as a sign that nothing is required. The perceived diffusion of responsibility means that more onlookers there are, the less personal responsibility individuals feel they need to take action. Because there are other observers, individuals do not feel as much pressure to take action. Or, because the other observers are known to us, we don't have the courage to take action. Bullying experts would believe that the bystander intervention can have a major role in stopping bullying in schools. Why? Because other students are present 85% of the time during bullying episodes. 85%. Strong bystanders or upstanders influence their peers and determine the norms of social behaviour. When bystanders intervene, bullying stops in 10 seconds or less, more than half of the time. The longer bystanders remain silent, the longer the bullying occurs. So what can you do to overcome the bystander effect? Simply being aware of this tendency is perhaps the greatest way to break this cycle. When faced with a situation that requires action, understand how the bystander effect works. Understand how the bystander effect may be holding you back, and consciously take steps to overcome that. Ultimately, it requires someone to speak up, to be the upstander. Upstanders have confidence in their judgment and their values, and believe their actions will make a difference. So the question is for you gents, do you have the courage to authentically live the Spirit? If we can move to the week ahead, please, Mr. Carmody. Wednesday, we have our second half of Year 7 move off to camp. Year 5 begin their retreat rotation, so we wish all those boys the best. Mr. Mara touched on Ash Wednesday. So our Ash Wednesday liturgy and imposition of the ashes will be in the conference centre in period 1. So your movements need to be straight to PC, and then under direction of your PC tutor, you will come down to the conference centre for a period 1 start. Just note that we'll be using Friday bell time, so you will have a normal Wednesday period 1 to 5 in the Friday bell times of period 2 to 6. Don't fear, your Google Calendar will also have been adjusted, so please follow that. Can I just remind and touch on comments that Mr. Mara made at the beginning? Ash Wednesday is a day of fast and abstinence. So as a Catholic school, we abstain from eating meat. Please note that the Tuck Shop, Beads Cafe and the Borders dining room menus will reflect this. Our SF classes on Friday are on the screen behind me now. Just would like to highlight Year 9, you will be in the Tierney Auditorium with an establishing assembly with Mr. Tuvey and I, and Year 12 will be singing in the chapel. As usual, there's a busy weekend of arts and sports that you can read there. To finish our assembly, I'd now call forward College Senior Zeke Waters to give us our 3 cheers.
Showcase, great performances. 3 cheers to all award recipients. Good work, let's keep it up in the future. If you've got a spare dollar, throw it towards a good cause. Was great shade, area for change. Unlucky loss of volleyball, head up Rocky Smith. We'll come back this weekend. Boys, don't forget to get around cricket and volleyball this Saturday out at Preston Grammar. Let's make this one better. Ingoing! Yeah! Ingoing! Yeah! Ingoing! Yeah!
Well done, thanks Zeke. Gents, please be standing to sing our school song, Sign of Faith.
There's
Thanks, gents. Please sit down. I'd like to thank our parents for joining us this morning, and you could leave first, please. Boys, if you're on Hendry Oval side, you're moving directly to period 2. Year 10 men are staying to help with the chairs.
Chairs, please remain in their place. Chairs, please remain in their place.